Hi and welcome to the AFTV pre-match build-up show with myself, Cecil G, and my guy James B. And we'll be looking ahead of today's match against Molde. Well, there's not much to say apart from
that's a chance. It's a chance to get it done. Get the Europa League group stage done. This absolute slog.
Please.
Which is like, not to disrespect the competition, but like, it is a slog in the group stage.
Yeah,
you just want to get it done.
They just want to get over it done with, get into the knockouts, and just want to get things get interesting. But before we begin, I have a question for you all, and I need you guys to answer them in the comments right now. I want to know the 3 youngest debutants for Arsenal. Yeah?
In history, ever.
Ever.
Not at the club now, not of the last decade, like ever.
So you got plenty of options. There's quite a few. We're gonna break it down later. And this show is going to be a lot to do with the youngsters, as loads of them travelled, and we're going to get into where they should be playing and what you should want to see from the youngsters involved. So please make sure, please just comment. Let's go. Let's get into this. What should we start with? We should start with the tweaks of Leeds. Does that sound right?
The tweaks of Leeds, I suppose. He did tweak it. What are we talking about? A boring 0-0, which we spent a lot of the game down to 10 men. I think because for the first time, Arteta showed the kind of intention that I think a lot of us wanted to see. Maybe not from a performance perspective, maybe not in terms of the way the team had a go in any sense, but just in terms of like a balanced formation, players in certain positions. And we got it right here behind us. So let's break it down. A few interesting calls. He stuck with, He stuck with this partnership here, Gabriel and Holding. That did surprise me. I don't know about you. It did surprise me. I suppose when we then found out that David Luiz wasn't available, that probably explained what, or almost definitely explained why. And then in fairness, that does really leave him with many other choices. So it kind of did make sense. But I did think, it still begs the question in my mind whether Luiz and Gabriel is the partnership he wants going forward.
100%.
Do you think?
Yeah, 100%. He has to want that.
Do you? I'm not convinced. I think Holding's really grown on him.
No.
Really?
No. I generally believe that Gabriel and Luiz are the perfect pairing for us, and I'll be surprised if he continues with the Holding and Gabriel partnership. I really would. Let us know as well. Do you agree? What do you want to see? Luiz and Gabriel, or Gabriel and Holding? I'm sure people are going to...
You know what the comments are going to say? Saliba.
No.
It just will.
Someone said, sorry, just when I said the 3 youngest debutants, someone said Don Robbie's got to be one of them. Oh, class. But yeah, carry on.
What's wrong with people?
I know, the comments.
People are just so creative. Right, a few other things we saw. Finally, we saw Tierney get a little bit of licence to get forward, Bellerin as well. Obviously, when we went down to 10 men, we saw less of this, but in that first 20 minutes, I thought Arsenal did start the game quite well, and we saw a lot more of that. And that's good because, you know, when people talk about teams like Liverpool, because, you know, obviously we keep saying Arsenal lack creativity, they need number 10s. People say, well, Liverpool don't have number 10s. I'm like, no, they don't, but they've got really good technicians like Salah, Mane, Firmino. They can all drop deep to get the ball. Robertson and Trent all have a wicked delivery. And in that, you've already got 5 players who can make something happen out of nothing. And I think we, to a degree, have that in Tierney because of his final ball and Bellerin because of his pace. But we've not really seen them get into the areas we want. What we've seen is, if I just clear all this, if you give me one sec. So this is a problem with the international break. I've had 2 weeks away from using this. What we've seen a lot of is Tierney being really tucked in and Bellerin playing as like an inverted wing back. So we've not seen them using the things we know or the attributes we know they have. This felt much more balanced. It felt like we were starting to see them to get into the positions we know that they can be dangerous from. And then let's move into the midfield. I thought Xhaka and Ceballos, in fairness, he didn't really have much choice, did he?
No, with Partey out, he definitely didn't. And I still think that affected us. To be fair, like I did say this, Ceballos had a good game against Leeds, in my opinion. Out of a bad bunch, he did a lot of the work. Good. Yeah, off the ball, he done really well. But
I agree. We then had Willock, Willian and Pepe. Now, each one of them had... What are you laughing at?
Someone said, did this guy say that we were founded in 2003? From the quiz. Oh, class. Sorry, the comments. Listen, I'm reading them all. Keep the comments. It was a joke. That was a joke, by the way, that James did when he did the quiz. It was
a joke, but you know what it is? It's like... I was on AFTV like a month before that quiz. Do you know what I mean? Like, is this the guy? Like, I've also been here the last month. But hey ho, people still get used to it, so that's fine. It's funny though. Right. Where was I? God, that.
Robbie is downstairs, everyone. Okay, everyone's saying, "Where's Robbie?" He's here. We always get this.
Always.
He'll be here. Listen, stay tuned. You'll see him after the next show, the starting 11. But yes,
Right. What I found interesting about this was we finally had a three, or actually let's call it a front four that slightly resembled more what we're looking for in our team. A, balance. So both left and right. There was no predictability about us.
Yeah.
I mean, there was in the way we played, but not in our formation. And the second thing, you had players like Willian who will come deep, will go wide, will come forward. You don't know, of those kind of four movements there, you don't know which one Willian's going to make. Like that's...
I don't think he knows.
No, I mean, I hear what you're saying. But in terms of his kind of the way he plays, he does have that ability to come inside, to drop deep, to go on beyond, to try beat a man. Problem is he's not playing well at the moment, so a lot of these things aren't coming off.
Yeah.
But I'm talking purely in terms of intent and style. Great, we had someone who's a bit more unpredictable on the left. You've then got an Aubameyang who will hit channels and make runs. You then got a Pepe who does more want to make these runs down the line, maybe beating a man or getting into the box. And then you've got Willock, who quite frankly will dominate, or at least try to, any of this area here, whether it's by trying to get into the box, whether it's by dropping deep to get the ball, whether it's making runs off the ball into the channels, whatever it might be. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, like, nice. That's a good team. Well done, Mikel. He was a bit restricted with El Neni and Partey being out. Louise wasn't available. Obviously, Saka's had loads of injuries. There were other factors to consider. So I was happy with the team. But I'll ask you this. Did you feel it worked?
What they did? What we had?
Against Leeds?
No.
Yeah, right. It didn't.
Of course it didn't. We didn't have a shot until the 60th minute on target.
Yeah.
We had 2 shots all game. Going forward, massive problem. Been screaming it for about 2, 3, 4 weeks now.
Yeah.
Nothing worked. I feel this is what I wanted to see, this is what angers me the most. I want to see this as a fan. When we saw the lineup, I was happy.
Yeah.
Did it work? No. And then obviously Pepe got red carded and
I didn't feel it worked either. I know the red card plays a big part in it, because the first 20 minutes of the game we were good. So who's to say that the first 20 minutes of the second half might not have been the same, you know? But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking it didn't really work, and I'm sort of trying to put a finger on why. And the reality is there is still more. These tweaks were good. It was a step in the right direction. We weren't great, but in terms of formation and what I want to see in terms of a system, it was a step in the right direction. There are a couple of little things you can still do, and I want to bring them up here. A lot of these you couldn't do a lot about. Let's start with the back. I'm going to bring in Saliba here. And I know people are looking at me and thinking, we all want Saliba, we all want this.
Yep.
You know, I'm not the first. This isn't some great tactical master plan, me going, oh, let's play the best young centre-back in the world.
Yep.
You know, or supposedly he is.
Yeah, as I say, that's a big statement, but...
Well, that is what a lot of, you know, the ratings and what people were saying about him last year, that is very much how people considered him. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because Saliba and Gabriel are fast footballers, especially at the back, and it is much easier to play on the press and to be the aggressor and to be on the attack when you've got 2 centre-backs who can sweep up and cover in behind. So if you're getting up the pitch, right, into these areas...
Yeah. Can I just pause you there? We have a super chat from Bakuta. He says, which leads on to this. People are saying push up the defence. There you go. James, I'm saying, can you push up the defence? Done now. Baketa says, thoughts on Leno not moving the ball quickly. It's a big part of our success with Martinez. Once we score, the game opens, and that's to our advantage.
I did agree that was a bit of a problem, actually. I did agree. Not the pace of it. I was more concerned with the fact that he was going long all the time. Less the pace and more... But maybe there's something in that, and I'll definitely watch out for it.
No, 100%, because I said against Leeds, playing out from the back was a risk, because they pressed high and really fast, and he was going long, but then going long wasn't working either.
No, I agree.
So
it was almost like we were trying to go over the press, but it didn't really work.
Yeah.
When you've got 2 centre-backs, you can condense this part of the pitch so much better. When you've got 2 fast... Oh, that's a bright yellow. When you've got 2 proper fast centre-backs who can cover, if they try and go in behind you, you've got you've got the power to win it in the air and dominate, or you've got the pace to come around and cover. And it makes everybody else's life so much easier when Xhaka, Ceballos, Willock, they're trying to press, Bellerin as well, and then they know that they've got the pace behind to cover them if they were to make a mistake. Everything in football's confidence. You know when you're chasing a ball to make a tackle, but there's doubt in your mind?
Yeah.
99 times out of 100, you don't win that ball.
Yeah.
If you've got doubt, you don't win it.
Or you get injured. Yeah.
Or you get injured, or you injure someone else.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that doubt, a lot of that doubt comes from what's behind you, what's around me. Like, do I feel confident committing because I know that what's happening around me is what I need for me to do this? And I think that is a big part of why we're struggling to be the aggressors in games. And I think Rob Holding, and I quite like Rob Holding, but the reality is, pace is a problem in his game. He's not slow, but he's not fast. He's not like when you compare Joe Gomez and Van Dijk. You know, one can press and the other can cover because they're both very physically dominating. That's the first change I'd make. I'll go on to the others. I don't know if you want to take any more comments.
There's loads coming in. People again screaming free Robbie. I'll make sure he comes up in a bit. Good evening, guy. Had a better performance. There's just loads. There's people talking about Arteta being a fraud, as this keeps getting popped up. We should play Emil Smith-Rowe. We're going to get onto the youngsters in a bit.
Yeah.
Cecil's retro shirt, love it, from Sam, says it reminds me of the good times. Same, honestly. Sometimes you got to get back into these feelings, for real. But manager is setting the pace, the goalkeeper. Oh, Pet says, but the manager is setting the pace of the goalkeeper distribution. Now, yes, I agree. I feel like, I don't know if you guys watched the Kevin Campbell and Robbie debate, whether it's the system or the players. And obviously the simple answer is it's both at the end of the day. But I just feel like the players are being overcoached. Whether that's not a system thing, they might have set out to play a certain way. And the players might be thinking, do you know what, I'm right for this game, I want to give my all, which is fine. But they might be overcoached in the sense of, you can't go bomb on past that person. The passing patterns have to be this. You have to make sure you get the ball to this. Then you're not freeing up the play, and the players will have a bad game, in my opinion. So it's a bit of both.
I thought it was a bit of both.
Yeah,
it was good fun being on that shirt and watching them.
No, it was very interesting.
I thought both had a really good point, to be fair.
Joe Bolton says, I miss Wilshere. So
we'll chat about him later, trust.
Daniel Robert says, talk about Aziz and Cottrell.
It's coming.
Holding is appalling from Jack Burgess. Got Olaran Finn. David says, come on Gunners. European Giants clash, Molde versus Arsenal. I don't know if that's banter. Or not. But yeah. How many youngsters could play, says Jake B2B. And then a lot of people are screaming for Balogun. So listen, let's want to get into the young. Oh, are you finishing off on?
Finish this, then we'll go into it. I'm nearly there.
Perfect.
The only two things I was going to say was, I brought in Thomas Partey for Granit Xhaka. Don't know why I've got that. And then
so this is more for when we're playing in the Premier League. This is what we expect to see in the Premier League. Willock in there as well, hopefully.
So Willock I've kept in. I feel like we can't be raving about him for his performances in the Europa League and then he has one average game against Leeds. We're going right out. No, it's not it. So
fair.
I think we've got to be a little bit more patient with Willock. I brought in Partey and Saka for Xhaka and Willian. Reason being is that Saka is probably our informed player, and he's got that ability to drop into midfield and get the ball. He's also got that ability to run in beyond. And Partey's an upgrade on Xhaka, and I wouldn't be dropping Ceballos personally. I think Ceballos has that bite you need in midfield whilst having the skill, the guile. Like he can connect defence to attack. We've not seen him do it as much. I think that might be, again, a system thing, but he does have it in him. So. And I, you know what? I've still got Pepe in there. Look.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think a lot of people, or maybe even here, saying Pepe obviously won't be involved. We probably will see Willian, if I'm honest.
Yeah, we probably will. Or Nelson. But I would. Nelson, I think, is still he's just a bit too young. I don't know if he's ready for the league. I want him to. I really want him to be ready for the Premier League. I'm just not sure he is.
He is, yeah.
I hope he is. Willian isn't doing it, and I'm starting to lose patience. So Pepe kind of gets that place by default. But I've got to say, they all need to step up. Saka's the only one doing it right now.
Exactly. Al Karp says, James B and Cecil don't care about the haters. Love the content. Love from Sweden.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Appreciate that. Cool.
So that's it. Those are just, if I just highlight them here one more time, these are just a few little tweaks I would just like to see in the next game. I know it's not going to happen.
Yes,
I know it's not. Saliba won't be brought in randomly for Wolves. Partey, will probably be brought in as will Saka. But I just think these are little things that will just take us that bit closer to where we were. Credit to Arteta, he tried to mix things up. He's clearly thought about it over the international break. But these are now just, you made those few little changes. Now let's keep adding to it week in, week out. Hopefully we'll eventually get the winning formula.
I'm gonna have to come back to the comments because you can see like I'm holding back laugh. I shouldn't laugh, but Willie Wilson says Willock should be on the bench for crashing his G-class. Savage, we spoke about this in the morning show. We hope you're okay, Willock, and we hope to see you. But there was that. Dennis Poon says AFTV Cecil, Pepe is going to play in the 10 today! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! I've been wanting to see this for ages and ages. Whether he will, I know. Obviously, some fans say he let the team down against Leeds, and there's a big debate about it. But we expect to see him today after the press conference that Arteta did. That he's back in Pepe, and he can make a return. He can fight. He can stake his claim and get him back into the starting 11.
Yeah.
I think the best position for him is in the 10. Whether we'll get a chance to see it, well, who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
I believe. Yeah, let's.
Should we talk about these youngsters?
The youngsters, people, listen, we've done a lot of research, a lot of work into this to talk about Arsenal's youngsters. There's loads of bright players in our academy. This might be the time that hopefully we get to, see a birth of a young career for a youngster.
Yeah.
That's quite round the houses sort of.
I hope so. Saka, was that the last youngster that really broke through? Nelson and Willock kind of had their debuts a few years ago.
Yeah.
They've been making they had their debut a while ago.
It's Saka that's been consistent.
And Saka not only broke
level.
through and had and started playing more regularly last year, but he's become one of our better players.
Yeah. Some people would say Bellerin because he secured. I know there's years ago, but there was but coming through and sustaining.
Oh right.
His first team spot, as in like he's there.
No, Bellerin, whatever you think of it, yes, he 100% came through the academy. But then also we signed him, I think from La Masia when he was 15 maybe. Yeah, that counts. Yeah, he's an academy prospect. Anyway, right, so let's start with Ben Cottrell. There's four we're going to talk about. Two of them probably more familiar to you, the other two maybe not so much. Let's start with Ben Cottrell. We've got it here, 19 years old. He's a centre midfielder, but he can play as that sort of number 10. He's got a bit of a creative spark, left-footed midfielder, very comparable to Jack Wilshere. We mentioned it in our news show the other day. He is comparable in the way he kind of looks after the ball and dribbles and what he can do with it. I'm no expert. This is, I'll be really honest, I'll be real with you guys. This is research, clips, all that. I haven't seen as much of the academy. I'll tune into their highlights and stuff, but don't tend to watch full games as much as I'd like to.
I've seen a bit of Aziz.
Yeah,
and I've seen a bit of Balogun.
But he looks talented. He looks talented, and he's made 62 appearances across the various teams in the Arsenal academy, scoring 12 goals and registering 10 assists. That's 22. That's basically a goal and assist every 3 games, roughly. What I'd say about Ben Cottrell is this gets interesting for him now because I am not trying to. You know what it's like being an ex-pro who's sort of come through the academy and you keep telling yourself even into your young 20s that there's still a chance. I maybe rather cynically as a fan who knows nothing of how difficult this industry can be really, I start to think that if you're not getting a bit of game time around 19, it's probably not going to happen for you at that club. Now that might be a bit harsh, I'm completely aware of that. But Cottrell's yet to make a debut, but he's looked very good. And this could be his moment. These Europa League games could be his chance to prove one. Now look, there's others who have defied that. Francis Coquelin, he became a first teamer after, made a debut, barely played, went out on loan a few times, gets a recall from Charlton, where he was barely playing, or he was out on the left, and then boom, he becomes a key player in our midfield. Yeah. So there's always a chance. But do you feel like... I mean... Do you get what I'm saying, or am I being harsh?
Just so everyone knows, the percentage of making it from once you're signed as a scholar, so 16 to 18, to first team football is 0.012%. So I think it's 180 make it to that position out of 1.5 million. So it's definitely difficult. It's definitely difficult to do it. I think at 19, it's hard to say for Ben because that's a year after. That's probably a 1 year deal at the most. So he's did his scholarship, then he's on a 1 year. He's probably on a more than 1 year deal. But it's a first year pro really at 19 years old. By the look of him, he doesn't seem physically developed yet. So I know when it comes to getting into a Premier League team or first team in the Premier League team, you've got to be kind of you have to be physically built, ready for the level.
Yeah.
I think the young players at this level kind of get stuck in the under 23s and try and get a loan move or find a career lower leagues and then make their break back into the Premier League. So I think it is unlikely. I'm not going to try and shoot down anyone's career because I'm not in the club, I'm not in the academy. I think it's definitely a positive travelling to and playing in the Europa League game, but to stake your claim is so difficult.
It is difficult. It's so difficult, right? And I'm not for 1 second trying to sit here and say that this is his big chance, like now or never. I'm not saying that for 1 second. The guy is clearly very talented and can go and have a fantastic career. I'm just saying at 19, we've not seen him make a debut yet or make an appearance. He played a bit, I think, in the friendly against MK Dons in the summer. Yeah. This is a good opportunity. If he gets on, I would just be saying to him, look, like, this is your chance. Like, show what you're capable of. You probably will get more chances. But I'm just saying this isn't a 16, 17-year-old where you're like, you know what, if we don't see you for 2 years after this, you know, that's kind of normal. Now it's like, if we don't see him for 2 years after whenever his debut might come, you're starting to think, right.
But it also comes with luck. And playing in, he's a midfielder, it comes with luck. And the positioning right now, we're heavy in the midfield, we're heavy in the defence. The most likely person you'll see sustain a career, potentially, my bets will be Balogun up front right now because our strikers aren't not firing. He may get an opportunity tonight, and then that may lead to something where he might get an opportunity in Premier League where he might go on and score off the bench. That's how you start a career. It's a lot down to luck. I think players and fans in general, or anyone, they don't realise how big luck plays a factor in your career.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, I mean, I could speak about this all day because
it's a fascinating discussion, and we'll do a proper show on it one day. But let's talk about Ben Cottrell. So being a left-footed midfielder, I see him very much being on that left side of maybe a 2 or a 3.
Yep.
That's that yellow patch is sort of central midfield. But he can also operate here in the 10. And I think this is where he's quite comparable to Jack Wilshere in that he's got that ability to be quite creative and get forward. If there's any player, you know, that you need of the 4 today to really develop into someone who can make a difference at first team level, you could argue it's Cottrell. In terms of attributes and positioning, we really need Cottrell as or that type of player to make a step up. That's what we need in the team. So good luck to him. There's a door open there, and I think that's where he could make a difference. And I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing things like, you know...
Well, a lot of people in the comments are saying that there isn't actually much competition in midfield right now. I agree for a ball-playing midfielder with technicality, but I just feel by his size and his strength, by his attributes, what I've seen, I don't know if he'll fit and have a long... Well, I don't know. I can't guess his career, but a long-last career right now in the first 11. I also want to say, Ronald J keeps asking about Tierney for captain.
Maybe one day.
We always say that. He's a future captain at Arsenal, 100%. The way, his passion... Just the way he is and carries himself 100%.
Yeah.
I think he will be a future captain.
Yeah. Right, so this is where I could see Cottrell having an impact, or maybe alongside a Partey here, maybe, with a number 10 in front. Let's go into another youngster. Who's next? Following Balogun. I mean, this guy, Kevin Campbell, was rating him massively on the show yesterday. 19 years old. Again, because it's not fair just to mention it with one or the other. I'm going to say it again. 19 years old. I think it's slightly different for strikers. Because only one striker really plays in the modern day. In midfield, there tends to be 3 positions. Maybe play out on the right, whatever. For Balogun, it is slightly different. I could see him being around for another 2 years without being a first teamer. But being in and around the squad. But at 19, he's a striker predominantly. He can play out on the left or the right because he's got that pace. He's got good with the ball. He's made 81 appearances for the academy, scoring 54 goals and assisting 14 times as well. I mean, this is a serious product, and
he's been spoken about for a while. He has been, and I think it's easier for strikers to make their stake for the starting 11 because attacking players in a sense because they make a bigger name for themselves quicker. I think it's difficult to put into a first team in a midfield or defence, you have to have a lot of trust from your manager, being a young defender or midfielder, because you're like, they rely on you. You know
Yeah, they do.
It's just like kind of the last line defence or the second line of defence. So strikers get more opportunities, and especially when they're young, to basically have a career at a big club and in the starting 11.
That's interesting. But I don't know if I'd have thought about it that way, but
I think the only one I can really think of, obviously, Fabregas when he came through, but he was technically above many players.
He was phenomenal.
We're looking at the likes of Foden at City. He's been it took him a long time to even get his place in the City squad. So it's rare that it comes from a midfielder, young player. It takes a lot of time. I think strikers, they get a bit of a bligh, just a little bit in stating their claim. We could look at Rashford's, the Mason Greenwood strikers, just a lot of young strikers.
No, that's interesting. I mean, there we go. We got him in the blue. That's because he's predominantly a striker, and that's where his chances should come. You see the amount of goals he scored. I want to see him in that area. You can put pace around him. I like it. He's got a presence about him as well, Balogun. He's not a small guy.
No.
So if you had a bit of creativity behind him, he'll make the runs and beyond, but he's also big and strong, and you can have a Saka whipping that ball into the box. Tierney, someone just putting it in, and look, he scores lots of goals. He's clearly very intuitive. He clearly understands where the ball's going to be.
Breaks the line.
Yeah,
he's exciting. I've watched quite a forgive me, highlights, a lot of highlights of the under-23s academy. He's been doing really well. I think. And
there's no saying he can't play on the left. I mean, a lot of strikers as well, when they are breaking through, sometimes they are just asked to shift out wide a little bit. Do a job there. Let's see what you can do, and with time you'll lead the line, because it's a big responsibility. So that's Balogun.
Someone referenced Tuba in the comments. Tuba Akpom. I think it was Colin. When I was coming, I'm not talking about myself. When I was coming through and I was playing professional, he was like the guy I looked to be. Yeah, he was that golden. He was that golden boy. Yeah, so he's Middlesbrough now. But I mean, that's just how football. That's how football is. We all thought, even my old team, we thought he was going to be the next England superstar.
Yeah.
But the pressures of the game, there's a lot of things that go on behind closed doors.
Yeah, but there is.
Fans and us, we're becoming aware. Well, I'm sure people knew anyway before, but we're becoming aware of.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let's go into the next one. Emile Smith-Rowe. Here he is. So
this is all you, Jay. You've been screaming this for weeks.
And in fairness, I don't even think we should consider him a youngster breaking through anymore. I've actually, if anything, been a little disappointed at the lack of opportunities he's had this season so far. Injuries have played a part. We've had some difficult games. I acknowledge all these things. But at 20 years old, this is what I mean by, if he's not playing a bit this year and looking like someone who can do a job in the future, I do start to fear that maybe his future's not at Arsenal. And I don't mean the club getting rid of him. I mean him also deciding this isn't where I should be. If you get to 21 and you're not getting, even if it's substitute appearances in the league,
even
starts in the
cup, the squad.
Right. I would be disappointed if I were him. Not at the moment, just if the season were to carry on in this kind of fashion. But he's got an opportunity. I think he might start tonight, and I really hope he does. He's predominantly attacking midfielder. He can play in central midfield, but otherwise he's played a lot on the sort of left of the midfield as well. 54 appearances for the academy with 21 goals and 8 assists. So he delivers. He scores goals.
He's a tidy player. What I've seen, I think that's the best way to describe it. He's very tidy on the ball. He brings others in. He's all over the pitch. He runs. Yeah, I like him. I know you're his top fan and push for him. I push for Balogun, but that's because I was a striker and. Yeah, I liked him. I suppose I liked Willock as well, but Emile Smith-Rowe, I think it's his time.
I really want to see him.
It's been a while.
He has a kind of, again, I said it about Cottrell, but he's got a kind of good power when he's got the ball. He's actually quite a powerful dribbler. He's happy to beat a few men. He's got a good delivery. He's got an eye for a pass. He'll make runs down the channel. He's very comfortable out in wide areas as well. He's been compared to, not in terms of ability, but in terms of playing style, he's been comparable to Kevin De Bruyne in terms of his. People think it's just the haircut.
No, but they're both tidy.
The way they kind of play, but also that they've got a bit about them. Smith-Rowe's not slight. He can look after himself. He's strong on the ball. He's got a bit of power about him as well. And he's slowly developing. And at Huddersfield, he looked really good. And he was able to score goals where he ran in behind, or he was able to beat a few men and show off some skills. So I really want to see him get a chance. I'm really desperate for it. I think sometimes you see youngsters and you're calling for them to get opportunities for ages, and eventually they do, and you're thinking, I knew it. And I've been saying this for months now. I hope Smith Rowe can be one of those. And this is where he could fit in. You know.
Kingsley Opera says some players are late bloomers like Vardy, but Smith Rowe, however, is already blooming, just not getting the chances at Arsenal.
Yeah, spot on.
I know
and players like Saka, Bellerin, Tierney making runs beyond, maybe Nelson, that is exactly what he'll feed off. That's what he'll want. So this is a guy I really want to see playing.
Mally says compared to Kevin De Bruyne, behave. We just said.
Why do I bother?
We're not. Listen, that's
why
what he's been compared to him. Not by. Listen, he's obviously well off that, but come on.
Yeah.
But what he's obviously going to be aiming to be like or play like. Okay.
If you played like Thierry Henry, that doesn't mean you're as good as Thierry Henry.
I know. And I based my game off Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things I try to take from him, but yeah, I was never that level, okay? But I'm not comparing. Yeah, anyway.
It goes without saying.
Exactly.
Oh my. It's just to give you an idea. You guys will watch Kevin De Bruyne week in, week out, because he's a great player and City are brilliant, and you watch him in the league, and that is just someone, if you want to get a flavour for the kind of things you might hope Smith Rowe could do one day, that's it. Let's talk about Miguel Aziz. 18 years old. This is a guy who I'm seeing as, okay, you're at that age where if you start making appearances now, and you're getting a bit of game time, you're making a few Premier League appearances off the bench, yeah, we can start getting really excited. He's a central midfielder, he can play as a defensive midfielder, but he's also got plenty of skill, he's got a lot about him. Wouldn't be surprised if he developed into a more attacking midfielder. He's made 40 appearances for the academy, so less than the others, with 5 goals and 4 assists, which obviously is illustrating the fact that he's a slightly deeper.
Yeah, I think someone said, would you like to see all 3 of the boys playing, or like in the midfield, or Aziz, Cottrell and Emile Smith Rowe?
Wow, so something like this.
I actually feel that will happen. Not tonight, not today, but I feel like if we win today, that kind of guarantees us pretty much to go into the knockout stages, and that's when I feel like we want to see in Europa League games. Let the youngsters play, let them shine, let them see what they can do in first team level. I know. People are saying the team's out. We're aware. Robbie and the rest of the team will be up discussing the starting 11. But right now, I want to talk about Aziz, and I've watched a lot of him. For me, his size for his age is undoubtedly like surprising. He's a big player. He's physical. He's strong. The only thing is, he's not. What I've watched of him, I've watched many highlights of him playing. The consistency of when he gets in front of goal. Now, I don't expect him to be a top goal scorer at the age he is and how young he is right now, but that's something he obviously needs to work on. That will come with experience and time. He is a very technical and he's a skillful player. Yeah, I've seen him do skill challenges.
I'll just have to put this in flight mode because I think someone's trying to send me the lineup. So I'm like, not now.
Yeah, not right now. But yeah, no, Aziz, I'm excited for already, and I'm gonna tip he's gonna be one that will be involved with the Arsenal first team going forward. Maybe not this season, maybe next season, but I think he has a bright future. Just the way that game is heading. Yeah, I think it benefits him.
I think so too. I mean, that would be an interesting wouldn't it? To see line up tonight. I don't think we will see it. It would definitely be interesting to watch. But yeah, look, that's we've covered them all, haven't we? Cottrell, Smith Rowe, Aziz, Balogun. Those are the 4 youngsters. Yep. I think 1, if not 2 of them will get some games. I'm not sure all of them will. I think there was, as we said, we've got to remember that you can have 9 subs in the Europa League. You can bring 5 on. They will also be there to make space for the fact that Partey's injured, and then he's recovering from COVID. Yeah. Saka, Willian, injuries. There's a lot going on. Aubameyang might want to be rested.
I think 2 of the 3. I think 1 striker, so it's probably going to be Balogun, will be featured. I believe 1 midfielder. Yeah. I don't know which one. But
I think we'll see Smith Rowe. I think Smith Rowe has to get game time today.
I think he deserves it.
He really does.
And yeah, for Aziz, it's more the experience of travelling with the first team and being involved. I think that will be down to that. Usman Fateh, thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much. He says if Arsenal don't play Florian Balogun tonight, he will leave on free transfer. The ball is in Edu and Arteta's court. Yeah, well, they've spoken really highly of him. Well, Arteta has anyway. Yeah, and David Ornstein's reported that they're trying to really keep him. Arteta's confirmed that. So let's hope that is the case. Let's chat a little bit about Molde, and then we
I think we'll have to wrap up. The lineup's coming out,
I
everything's happening.
I know.
So,
we're chatting and sitting and chatting. No,
but you know what? Sorry to cut you, but I've enjoyed this. It's nice to chat about the youngsters. What's the future of the club? What's going on? It's different to always analysing opponents and stuff. I've really enjoyed it. So let's go into it because you've got a lot to say about Molde and their attack.
Yeah, I had a little look. Obviously, last game we spoke about. Sorry if I'm saying his name wrong. Omofajano. He was the tall striker. I did a lot of breakdown about him in our last pre-match build-up show because I thought he was the main striker and someone we should be fearing. He's very physical, strong. And if I'm honest, a lot of Molde's striking force, that's what they are. They're big, tall, strong and physical. Their top goal scorer at the moment is Leaky James. He's the top goal scorer at the moment. He's on 11 goals. Now, this stat right here, Molde have scored 65 goals at home in 2020 in 24 games. Yeah. I mean, that lot, I'm not gonna say that word. How can I say this without being rude?
Scared you?
No, it's compared to our attacking, our shots, our goals. Just basically, I want to say, basically, it takes a piss out of Arsenal's goals. And
65 goals at home.
It's crazy.
Do you know what I'd do for that?
It's crazy. It's crazy. Obviously, that level, no offence, it's completely different to
different league, different opponents.
Yeah, but that's something to be feared, to be worried about. I did a lot of research on their recent games. They won 3-0 in their last game. They had a lot of opportunities though. This is where they don't take the opportunities. I don't believe as much as the goal record may think they shows that they do. I think that's down to the opponents that they're playing because they had loads of opportunities and only scored 3. They should have been about 10-0 up, as mad as that sounds. But that's all it is. I feel we've got to worry about Leaky James. He didn't start when we last played them. I feel like he will be starting in today's game, definitely against us. He's their top goal scorer. He's someone to worry about. He's like Omi Afano. Yeah, he's very strong and physical. But I feel like our defence, we can handle them. We should be winning today.
But they'll cause us problems, and this is why I think it's important to highlight these players that you've mentioned, and this stat, they will cause us problems. They score goals at home. Let's round off with the answer to the little quiz question.
Yeah, so, wait. Oh, okay.
Did I ruin it?
It's fine.
They've surely been getting their comments
They have,
in.
but it was right at the beginning.
Right,
so,
fine.
guys, listen, the youngest debutants for Arsenal. In the comments right now, let's go. I'll give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes, I feel like
They're just going to rewind.
I feel like, I feel like I'm in school. I thought Walcott was one, but he's not. The three of the youngest debutants for Arsenal. I thought Walcott was one, but it's not. I did think Zenelim. I know he's in there. Let's get it up now because people are getting their comments in. These are the...
"5 months and 24 days.
See, I didn't know that. I thought Wilshere was the youngest ever, but Fabregas. How old was he?
16 years, 5 months and 24 days.
Oh, that's
what. Some people are thinking born.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, 16th of May, 2024.
I'm glad you explained that because that probably made it clearer for everyone else as well watching.
Sorry, that was like the only way to fit it all in. Wilshere, 16 years, 8 months and 12 days, so not far off him. Jermaine Pennant. I know.
Wow.
16 years, 10 months and 15 days. And then we've got Paul Vason, who I think played in the 70s, 80s. 16 years, 11 months and 11 days. And then we had Ryan Smith, who interestingly made his debut in the same match as Cesc Fabregas. So,
Oh, wow. Well, Wenger he was happy to do that. And then the Zenelim at the bottom there, Wenger. I remember him doing that debut. I was like, I thought a lot for the kid. I don't know where he's playing now, but I hope he's still playing because he was an incredible talent. Right. I think that's it, guys.
That's it, guys.
Thank you for watching the pre-match build-up show with myself, Cecil G, and James B. We'll be now going on to doing the starting 11, the watch-along, and then the aftermath show with fan cams. You know how it is. Stick around at AFTV, and thanks for watching.